All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom. All right, this your brother Kazakia out of Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, right? But prior to getting started, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Harakakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the whole elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And the title of today's lesson is going to be Unrighteous Immortality, okay? That's the title of today's lesson. It's going to be Unrighteous Immortality, all right? And right now, what's on the precipice, okay, is that Esau, Edom, the Edomites, so-called white man, okay, which is his biblical nationality, okay, according to the scriptures, all right, something that he's been running from, right? That's why, he called himself, so-called white, all right? He's not white, okay, they're red, all right? And according to scriptures, all right, they're the Edomites, okay? And his plan, right, which we're going to go into, basically the devices, the wicked is to be so-called transcended, right? Merging man with technology, okay, machine, okay, to basically live forever, okay, to have the ability or the power, to live forever, you know. And so, this is again, this is just art, you know, we pull basically from off a line. We're gonna talk about the picture in just a second. But it says at the very top, it says ever evolving, forever loving. Okay, and really wanted it to be in a creation of the picture, a living instead of loving, but it just so happened to be on there. It's just on there or whatnot, but it's supposed to be living basically. All right, and we see in the center of the image, you see, it says, "I am all, I know all, I love all, I live always, I am one." Okay, and it has an infinity sign, man. And this devil's trying to achieve just that, right? He's trying to experience life forever, you know. Now let's go to this. I'm gonna kind of have to zoom in order to see what it says here. All right, top left, it says knowing everything. It says data stream, all knowledge, all history, all possibilities, all truths, man. So this person, right, this so-called transhumanism, transcended, whatever, person, okay, if that's what you want to call it, they basically would have the power or the ability to have basically like the internet, place within their consciousness. So whatever they think of, they will have the answer to whatever they think of, which will basically, give them a so-called kind of like a godlike capability, because they will have all, knowledge, right? All knowledge will be at their, at the forefront, okay? Same thing what it says, history, and, so-called truths, which we know there's only one truth, which is Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, right? And that's how we're able to even go into these things, all right, and be able to talk about it, on a biblical level, right? Because the Lord has revealed to us, the secrets, of the scriptures, man. Who the devil is, which is Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man. What's his plots, his plots, his schemes, his plans, what he's really thinking in his mind, right? The Lord, has revealed to us, okay? And I'm going to get that real quick. Let's see here, actually. Let's go to the first precept. Where we gonna go here? This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It says, "Least Satan shall get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Okay, and we'll read it real quick in the G&T. It says, "In order to keep Satan from getting the upper hand over us, for we know what his plans are." Okay, and this is ultimately what's a part of the plan, man. Okay, to achieve immortality, basically on the left-hand side. Now, the righteous, okay, which is basically a representation of the elect, they're going to achieve immortality by overcoming the world and these type of devices, man. Okay, because, this devil has the actual, he has actual little devices, the technologies and different things that he create. Okay, but then he has devices before the actual physical devices are made on the earth, which is his plans, man. Okay, we just read that. All right. It says, all right, underneath that it says connected to all, every mind, every machine, every star, every dimension, right? And it's just like kind of still going into the knowing of things, right? Everything being all one, being connected into all one cerebral so-called state of mind, man. All right. Underneath there, you see uploading consciousness, right? This man wants to be able to upload his consciousness, right? And put it into a new body, you know? And if this devil could find a way, which he can't, but, he could find a way to recreate what they call, a soul, basically, he would do so in that too, man. When we know the Lord, okay, Yahweh Bashem Shai, he's the Father of spirits, man. All right, he's in control of that. All right, it says technology is the pathway, the body is the interference. It says love is the pure purpose, is this purpose, okay? All right, we're gonna quickly go over to the other side. It says loving forever. We're gonna skip that, okay? All right, this is the point we want to get to. It says digital soul. Okay, now this is what his uh how can I say this, is his concept of what it is. Okay, consciousness, preserved, enhanced, infinite. Okay, like I said, he wants to be able to upload his consciousness to a cloud. That way he can live forever, man. Okay, he could have a fresh body. He could feel like himself, look like himself, so to speak, and live once again, and not be subject to the Father of spirits, man. Not be subject unto Yahweh Bashem Shai, or don't feel like he's being subject to it. Right? I'll say that. Okay, and it says all bodies, one system. Pretty much the same thing as the other side. It says limitless power. All right, create, innovate, transform, transcend. Right? That's what they want to do, man. Okay, they want to transform and transcend. Okay, and you can see these people. Let me see. I'll make it smaller. Okay, at the bottom, right? Some are wearing look like VR goggles and things like that. They remind me of basically the movie. I believe it was called Upgrade. Where the people were was in the buildings. They was wearing nothing but rags and stuff like that. And they basically was uh, you would say in today's time they would be like druggies, so called, basically somebody who's strung out on drugs or something, but really they were strung out on the tech, man. Okay, they couldn't, their minds couldn't live without being on the technology, man. Okay, and they had these different so-called look like wires implanted in them, if I'm not mistaken, and those VRs on their head, man. And that's where those people lived. Their actual physical body was basically just rotten, right? But their consciousnesses, their minds, their state of being wanted to live and be in that so-called VR world, man, forever until they actually, you know, until they actually physically pass or whatnot. All right. This is what the world is coming to, man. This is what the devil is bringing, man. Okay. I'm gonna read this. Actually, I'm gonna go to where is it at? I'm gonna go to this definition real quick. This is on. It says the Internet of Things. It says is a vast network of physical objects like smart appliances, vehicles, and industrial sensors embedded with software and network connectivity that allow them to connect, share, and act on data autonomously without human help, right? And I'm just going to kind of blow up this picture a little bit right here. Okay. So all of these devices that you see within this picture, um, basically all could communicate with each other, right? They all have this own thing about itself where it can act as one, right? And this is, a technology, basically a left hand uh, um, miracle that Esau has done. Okay, but he's achieved it through Satan. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has given him the technology to do so, right? He's given a mindset to be able to go and achieve certain parts of his plans. Okay, and that's a part of prophecy. It just in so many words, it is what it is. Okay, but this is what this devil wants to do, man. Okay, now we're gonna go and get the other one real quick because we talked about. Okay, all right. Now, this is the Internet of Bodies. We talked about the Internet of Things, right, in which devices are connected. Okay, but now we're going to talk about the IOB. It says is a network of internet connected devices attached, implanted, or ingested into the human body to collect health data and monitor or alter physical functions. And that's what he wants to do. Okay, through the MOTB, right? He wants people to change themselves, right? Um, I think the word is meta. You know what I'm being saying? Which means to like go beyond, which basically kind of like transcend. Okay, and that's what you're seeing, man. Slowly yet steadily, the implementation of just that. Okay, for everything to be meta. All right, and it says key categories include external wearable wearables like smartwatches, internal medical devices like pacemakers, and okay, I'll say BCIs, okay, because I don't know if we could say those words, but you can see it on the screen. All right, I'm gonna say the internal part of the IOBs, okay, and it says smart pacemakers, insulin pumps, and digital pills that track medication or well, said it already, but inside the body, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you may not be able to say that either or whatnot, but you guys get the point, okay? This man wants to merge, man with machine. This is that ultimate plan, man. This is what you have to look out for. This is what not to take, man. If you do this, there's no turning back, man. Okay. Ultimately, Esau, Edom. Okay, the Edomites, the so-called white man, has a God complex. Okay, that's one thing for sure, right? Let's go get this here. I think it's around this verse. Let's go straight to the point. Isaiah 47 and verse 10, it says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness." Right, they trusted in the things that they have made, right? All right, and it says, "Thou hast said, none seeth me," right? The Lord don't see me, right? Okay, he doesn't know what's going on. You know, he's not beholding the evil that I'm doing throughout earth. Okay. You know, he's not aware, okay, of what's going on. But the Lord sees him, man. Okay. And the Lord brung it to, the prophets, right, the elders and apostles, okay. And we're the ones, shining a light through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai on the wickedness so the people could be aware, man. So they could know, what's going on. It says, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee. Okay. And this is a part of the wisdom and the knowledge, man. He's been perverted by his own plans, his own, his own devices, his own instruments. Everything that he's created, is going to be ultimately, destroyed by Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Okay. The fact that he really believes that he's going to achieve immortality on the left-hand side on a grand scale is, ridiculous, and that the Lord's just going to allow it to happen, right? It says thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me, right? And that's what the Lord said. Okay, did not the Lord say that? So this man has a God complex. He tells you, I am, and none else beside me. All right. Now let's go and see, because I had a few precepts lined up here, trying to see which one. I'm gonna actually get one. All right. Let's see here. Let's see which one I want to get. All right, let's get this one here. All right, this is Isaiah 45 and verse 18. It says, for thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, okay, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, right? And there is none else, right? Okay, same thing that this this devil basically said within his mind, right? When we go back to this verse, okay, it says, going to the bottom, straight back to the bottom of the verse, it says, thou hast said in thine heart, right, I am, and none else beside me, right? And this is the mindset of Esau, man. This man thinks he is God, right? And how does he think he is God? Through this, okay, right? And the technologies came a long ways, man. They got nuclear missiles, okay? They got drones. They got tech that can knock out power, okay? You can, just the simple, what we will call simple things in life for as far as technology is concerned, right? You're able to literally, well, they call in today's time, FaceTime somebody across the earth, see the actual visual image of the person, talk to them, and then talk back to you in real time, man. Okay? This man has messed with weather patterns. He's destroyed the earth. Okay? The animals are frustrated. All right? He's connecting everything and making it all one. That is exactly what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai would do. Exactly what God would do. Okay? And if you don't get on the right side of this, okay, because there's just two sides of this, man. It's either repent or be put to death by the Lord, man. Okay, so either the Lord's going to put it on, if you're not with the Lord at that time period, the Lord's going to put it on your spirit to become just this, what you see in this picture, man. And that's even if you make it that far, because you may not even have the opportunity, Okay, so it says the internet. Let's kind of go down here. It says the internet of bodies. It says we are the network. We are the consciousnesses. We are eternal, man. Okay. And I'm just trying to go through the picture a little bit. At the bottom, it says immortality, which says death is optional. Omniscience. It says all knowledge accessible. Right. You have everything that you will want to know at your fingertips. Right. You won't have to get on your phone and research, oh, well, what's this? You know what I'm saying? But by the implanting of the MOTB, you would have access to, the so-called knowledge, man, that this devil has put out in society. Okay, omnipresence, everywhere, always. It says omnipotence. It says no limit or no boundaries. Perfect love, unconditional, external, and it says pure consciousnesses. It says beyond human, beyond time. All right. So you pretty much get the gist of what's being said here, man. Okay. We know one thing, the Lord's going to do is he's going to destroy all this, man. Right. All this technology, all this, the whole mode and way of thinking and what, Esau wants to do, the Lord's going to destroy it, man. All right. Let me see. Let me go here. I think it's, all right. Let me see here. Because there's a scripture I wanted to get in particular. Let's go. All right, bear with me real quick. It's talking about the devices. All right, we'll get this one right here. All right. This is Job 5 and verse 12. It says, he disappointeth, right, the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, right? And we'll read it real quick in the GNT. It says, he upsets the plans of cunning people, right? And this is just a plan, man, to get you to be merged with technology, man, to be a man merged with machine, ultimately. Okay, everything and everybody, all one world, government, one world belief, one world, everything, man. All right. And it says, he upsets the plans of the cunning people and traps the wise in their own schemes, so that nothing they do succeeds, man. Yeah, man. So that, like I said, that pretty much, sums it up, man. Okay, the law is gonna trap them in their own trap, their own plans. They're trying to entrap the world, so the law is gonna entrap them. All right. Let's get this here. This is Psalms 33 and 20. It says, the Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. Right. This is a part of the counsel, a part of the plans. Right. This is what's being talked about behind closed doors. Okay. This is what's driving that mad, so-called mad, I don't know if we could say that word, but a madman, to completing this here, man. Okay. And it says, he maketh the devices of the people of none effect, right? So, and I'll read it real quick in the GNT. It says, the Lord frustrates the purposes of the nations. He keeps them from carrying out their plans, right? So they're not going to be able to completely perform this enterprise. Okay, they're not going to be able to carry out this plan into full effect, right? Because the Lord will come back and save the elect of the nation of Israel, right? World War III will pop off, right? Nuclear missiles will hit America and completely decimate this place, man. All right. That's the plans of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And there's nothing that Esau can do to stop him, But yeah, that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Okay, and the title of today's lesson is Unrighteous Immortality, man. This is what the devil, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is trying to achieve on the left-hand side, right? By using so-called, witchcraft, magic, whatever, to achieve this, okay? But Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all I had through the spirit and power Yah by Shemel Shai. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, first and foremost, to the hopeful elect. But prior to getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh by Hashem, Harachakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? Kwam Yasha Allah, Abba, and Shalom.